Hi, this is our community project on vulnerable populations. Our age group that we're doing it on is college-age students.
I'm Courtney.
I'm Kaylin.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Stephanie. Okay, so we're starting out with defining the demographics. College students are typically defined as students in the ages of 18 to 24, right after they graduate high school. In the fall of 2015, there were approximately 20.2 million college students enrolled in universities across the country. There's an increasing amount of minority students within that. About 11.5 million of those were women and 8.7 million of those were male. There are 3 different colleges in Lynchburg: Liberty University, Lynchburg College, and Randolph-Macon. And Lynchburg College has about 2,700 students with a 12-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. Liberty University has approximately 14,500 students with a student-faculty ratio of 24-to-1. 48% of them are male and 52% are female, so they kind of follow the national trend. And Randolph-Macon has 1,394 students with a 12-to-1 student ratio faculty. And they also follow the national trend of male to female. And I also interviewed 2 students. The first one was a female junior student whose major concern of the population of the college kids was safety at nighttime on campus. Afterwards, if you're on campus studying in the C-Lab at nighttime, it's dark, buses don't run after a certain time, and parking lots are kind of far from campus across the bridge. So she was concerned about walking and safety, especially like evacuations and stuff. Like, I know on campus, the dorms, they do evacuations, fire drills, but like actual off-campus residents, if there was a fire in DeMoss, would everybody know where to go? And then her health concern was about the nutritional meals not being available on campus. You can go to the main dining cafeteria, but they're not at convenient times for commuter students. And they're not really affordable, and most of the campus restaurants available, especially on North Campus, are of fried foods like Chick-fil-A, and they're not very healthy options, and students aren't really increasing the amount of time they're exercising according to the amount of unhealthy foods they're eating. And then the disparities that she thought the college students were with was finances. Liberty, she thought, was a great campus to attend, and with not having enough financial background, a lot of students don't have the opportunity to attend Liberty's campus, and she thinks it's very sad and everyone should have an opportunity. And then for community, she felt like Liberty has a lot of resources for people to go to, but if you're an off-campus student, it's mostly occupied by the residential students, so she feels that Lynchburg maybe needs more places to hang out besides restaurants, and that they should probably have an informational meeting like once a month at least for people to know where to hang out and where they could go for extra opportunities to hang out. And then I also interviewed a male sophomore student who lives on campus, and his major concern was sleeping in the college population, especially when you live on the dorms. It's loud on campus, you have roommates that don't want to go to sleep at the same time as you. There's quiet hours in the dorms, but RAs don't often make them follow it. And then his health concern was injuries on campus, like if you want to play a pickup game of football and you get injured and break a bone and you don't have a car because you live on campus, how long it's going to take LUPD to get to you, whether there's any first aid kits around in the dorms, not that he knows of, there's not. And if you call an ambulance, how they're going to know to get their way around Liberty's campus. And then his disparity, he thought, was ethnicities. He felt like at Liberty there's probably not very much of a problem with it, but at public colleges there's probably more of a chance of people of another ethnicity getting racial slurred, or like people using racial slurs towards them, or getting more picked on, which would lead to like college shootings and stuff like that you hear about. And then for his community thing, he felt like there should be bus tours of Lynchburg, like either Liberty should offer one or the city of Lynchburg should offer a tour to take you around the different places of Lynchburg, because he brought up the fact that he has anxiety and trying to find places causes him to have high anxiety. So having a bus tour would be a great idea for the community. And that's that.
Okay, so now we're on to discussing the social determinants of health. According to the CDC, social determinants of health are economic and social conditions that influence the health of people in their communities. Basically, this means that they're shaped by the amount of money and power and resources that people have. These social determinants can include, access to healthy foods, which is what our project is focusing on, of nutrition. This can also correlate with stress associated with discrimination or social norms, to transportation barriers and access to care. Social determinants of health affect factors that are related to health outcomes. So we have a model here about the 5 different, there's an example of 5 different ways to approach improving health. Obviously, as stated before, starting at the very bottom is the socioeconomic factors, because that's basically where everything stems from. And then if that can be fixed in a certain community, then you can move up towards the top of the triangle, starting with change the context of impact healthy decisions. Then you can work on protective interventions, then you can work on clinical interventions, and then finally at the very top is the counseling and education. But again, socioeconomic status is the most important thing. The social status, again, as long as there are social inequalities, so there will always be health disparities. And examples of these things as far as preventative measures, as far as socioeconomic statuses and stuff, that's why they do, flu shots for college students to avoid, the spread of the flu in close quarters, such as the dorms, or for nursing students, such as ourselves who are caring for other patients. Another thing is the meningitis requirement before college, so that people, regardless of socioeconomic status, have to get these to prevent the health of others, because that illness is extremely dangerous, life-threatening, and contagious. Also, there are as far as social determinants of health in college students, many struggle with transportation, as Stephanie mentioned, because not everybody has a car. Not everybody, I know Cornerstone offers buses to campus, but not all other apartment complexes do those things. Some don't have health insurance, and they can't see a primary care physician or primary care at all. And this can be a big problem because some people are on parents' insurance, other people work and can get insurance through work, and others have to buy it themselves when they can't afford that through working. And at Centra, the clinic on Liberty's campus in Green Hall, if you don't have insurance, it's $160 to be seen, and that doesn't even include meds that you might have to take, which results in them going to the ER. And that's a huge bill, but it's really their only option in order to get treated. So if you have strep throat, you need antibiotics, it's the last resort. Some struggle with having a job, with time management, with school and jobs. Some cannot get a job, and others would like to have a job on campus, but not everyone qualifies for the federal work studies. And also there's living. If people can't afford to live off campus, off-campus housing can be difficult too, because that's also expensive and may be difficult if you come here and you're new and you don't know anyone that you could room with.
I researched 4 different strategies to improve health among college students. One of the biggest ones, especially with reaching out to Liberty students, is adding more promotional stuff for the Live Healthy Liberty. Live Healthy Liberty promotes an active lifestyle, and it challenges students to get out there and go to the gym more, and involve in more activities to improve their health, and it promotes healthy eating. They have a lot of workshops, but it's not very widely promoted, so a huge thing would just be promoting that on the splash page. They can provide quick and healthy meals. Like we had said, like commuters, it is expensive to eat on campus, and there's not many healthy options, and if they are, it's hard to access, so that'd be something that we could work on. Another thing that I thought was really cool that Courtney and I came up with was coming up with a dorm room cookbook for college students. Because a lot of times if you live in a hall, there's not really access to like an oven or a refrigerator that's big enough to hold a lot of food. So just quick and easy recipes that involve fresh vegetables, maybe steaming them, or Greek yogurt and berries, something along that to get them more aware of what they're eating. Another thing is a display in DeMoss promoting healthy eating to the community of Liberty University. Just at all times, really, it should be part of like a health promotion, maybe getting students involved, more nursing involved, making people more aware of what they're eating and how it's affecting their body and how can it affect their body in the future. Also, a new class at Liberty has freshmen and transfer students requiring is University 101. And we have this idea that they should include healthy eating strategies. So talk about different ways that they can eat healthy on campus. So I developed the PROCEED model for nutrition for this project. And the PROCEED model consists of 7 phases. The first one is social diagnosis. And so the question that we had to answer is, what are the general concerns of the population for college students? And I came up with college students resort to cheap and unhealthy foods that are fast and easy to access because of limited time and limited income. And so when you take these general concerns, you want to break it down into specific health problems, and that's phase 2, which is the epidemiological diagnosis. So there's weight gain, sleep disturbances, acne, unhealthy habits, stress, and also predisposition to future health disparities. Because many times as you develop your eating habits now, they continue for the rest of your life. So if you develop good eating habits now, you have a much better chance of eating healthy as the years go on. Phase 3 is a behavioral diagnosis. And so what are the health-related behaviors? A lot of college students drink energy drinks, fast food, candy, desserts, late night pizza and snacking, but also skipping meals. They're skipping meals and then eating really late at night, or they're just skipping meals altogether, which isn't good for your body or metabolism. Phase 4 is the educational diagnosis. So what are the predisposing, enabling, and reinforcing factors? Healthy food is expensive, and there's the constant stress of schoolwork and not enough time to prepare those healthy meals. Phase 5 is the analysis of educational diagnosis. So which of the priority factors will be focused on during education? And we wanted to focus on avoiding unnecessary cheap foods like sugary drinks and snacks with high fat and sugar content, promoting drinking water and snacking on healthy, fresh foods. In addition, we want to create a regular meal schedule for them to abide by so that they're not eating at random times, causing them to eat late at night. Phase 6 is the administrative diagnosis, and this deals with the specific objectives and resources that are needed for this specific health education. I came up with several. The main objective for the students will be to start a healthier lifestyle, or for some to maintain that healthy lifestyle and not waver with that. They can have resources like healthy food at a cheaper cost. Many people, like they offer the on Thursdays, they offer the Fresh Market over on East, and I think that should be promoted more about eating fresh foods and at an attainable price for the normal college student. An action is nutrition classes or specialists to come to speak to students in groups. The main objective for the colleges will to be provide healthy alternatives for students to enjoy eating or snacking on so that they do not have to resort to chain fast food places. And this is just all, like, we want to be able to reach the cost effective and just make sure that they are able to afford it. And the last phase is the evaluation phase, and this is what results of our education. And so we decided that we want the goal of our education to be through Live Healthy Liberty, students become more aware of what they're eating and drinking and choosing healthier options. So there's also, because we are college students, we're not always ready to change, or we're not always willing to change. And so there are different readiness and barriers to change. The population's readiness to change is an issue that will have a lot of variables involved. There are some students who will currently already have healthy eating habits and will not have to be educated. But there are also students who know the benefits of healthy eating, but either don't have the income or simply don't care because they believe that they're young enough that it's okay for their body to handle the fast food, the late night eating, the sugary drinks. There will also be students who do not know the dangers and therefore they need to be educated on their healthy habits. The biggest barrier to change is between the last two groups will be the stubbornness to eat healthier. The obvious common disposition without eating healthier is that it does not taste as good, so who would want to sacrifice good tasting food for fewer calories? Therefore, it is vital to introduce students to healthy foods that are tasty and show them that healthy eating can be just as satisfying. We also, the SMART objectives is a goal that involves a specific goal that's measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So we came up with the fact that over the next semester, students will try to limit their daily intake of sugar to 25 grams a day. And even I am shocked that I'll look at a Starbucks drink or I'll look at a soda and it says serving size is maybe 18 grams of sugar, but there's 2 serving sizes in that bottle and I drink it all in one sitting. And I'm having almost twice the daily recommended. So I think it's really we should aware our students that they should only be intaking around 25 grams a day. The next goal that we came up with is that students will strive to only make one fast food trip a week. And I think this really will reach out more to commuter students because I know I as a commuter, I don't have time to cook and it's easier to go to Chipotle or McDonald's or just stop somewhere and pick it up instead of going to Kroger or going to Walmart and picking up fresh vegetables and making a heart-healthy meal. We can partner different ways with the community, and the best is the Live Healthy Liberty. And you can get the staff and faculty involved, and you can also get the students involved. You can get the faculty involved by maybe in a place in the syllabus talking about sleeping well and eating well, and different ways to attain that through their class with the busyness and building that into their schedule. Another is, as Courtney talked about, is the Centra Clinic in Green Hall and how expensive it is for those who don't have insurance. So I think we as a community for Liberty should be helping our own, and even those in the community, we should be helping them to attain more affordable health care. There are different fundings. The funding is really straightforward. For community, this is the vulnerable population is the college students. We need to fund nutrition classes or nutrition seminars for the students. So either in freshman seminar, they could do CSER hours, helping others with their nutrition. Something you can involve CSER in that. And then instead of offering traditional, less healthy snacks, maybe the desserts at Brioche in the bottom of the library, or just different ways, incorporate healthier versions and just promote healthy eating and fresh vegetables, and try to make it a more attainable cost. Evaluation tool that we came up with is to assess the population post-intervention is to create an assessment quiz before they have the education, and then ask them after the same questions to see, or different questions along the same lines, to see if they've learned anything about nutrition and how they can apply it to their own lives.
I looked up 2 different Healthy People 2020 goals for our population of college students. The first related to sleep, and the other one related to nutrition, which we've been talking about up till now. As we've already said, Lynchburg is home to lots of colleges, the main ones being Liberty University, Lynchburg College, and Randolph. According to some research I did, Lynchburg houses more college students than the state average, and it's number 75 on the list of top 10 cities with percentage of college students. So obviously the college students in the area make up a big population of Lynchburg, and so it's important as nurses to know about this population, to know the different needs and disparities within the population. And according to a poll in 2010, 8,467 people lived in college university housing. So obviously the young adult demographic is key, especially as nurses, we need to be aware of this demographic in the area. So the first goal revolves around sleep. Sleep health, increase the proportion of adults who get sufficient sleep. And obviously this is difficult for college students because, for one, lots of college students live in dorms, which obviously isn't very conducive to sleep. When I used to live in the dorms, it was really hard to have a normal sleep schedule because my roommates would be up studying late, and then I can't sleep with lights on, so I would be awake till whenever the lights turned off, or there's lots of noise in the dorm, so it's not the best environment for sleep, which creates a big problem, especially when it comes to health. And students also have a mentality that we can just do whatever we want because right now we're not really experiencing the consequences of our unhealthy choices, but we will later. So at this time, lots of students won't sleep because we have stuff to do like work, school, projects, social activities, and all of this take up our time and take away from time when we could be sleeping, but we don't really care because we can survive without sleep and just drink coffee or Red Bull and keep going. And I think that's common among the college students, which is important to know that a goal for this population is sleep health. Secondly, nutrition, which Kelsey has already talked about a lot. The goal would be to increase obviously the nutrients that we intake as college students, nutrient and weight status related to food and nutrient consumption. The objectives involve increasing the contribution of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and calcium to the diet. And we want to decrease the consumption of added sugars, solid and saturated fats. So that's that. And then I went to Walmart to check what it would cost to make a healthy homemade chicken soup, and then what it would cost to eat ramen noodles, which we all know ramen noodles is a staple for college students. So I looked at Walmart, and I took a trip there, and I looked and saw that ramen, a 12-pack, costs $2.27, which is dirt cheap. Then, if you make a homemade chicken noodle soup, which, first of all, dorms don't really have a good place to cook this, but if you live off campus, if you're a commuter like all of us are, you can go to Walmart and cook in your house or apartment. And I looked at the cost for all the ingredients, and it ended up being a lot more expensive than $2.27. I mean, if you get fat-free, low-sodium chicken broth, it's $4. Organic chicken breasts is the most expensive part, which is $5.93. Sliced carrots around 32 cents, celery around $1.68, chopped onions around 49 cents, and egg noodles to $12, and then obviously just add pepper and salt. But that's definitely a lot more than $2.27, and which is why we as college students don't eat as healthy as we should, because we have limited time and limited resources to be able to cook these healthy meals.
So we also had to identify and describe 4 main health issues that we saw among our vulnerable population as college students. Nutrition, number 1, which is what we've been discussing. The other 3 that I researched were alcohol and drug use, roommate and relationship difficulties, and coping with anxiety and stress. Alcohol and drug abuse is common among many vulnerable populations, and I think that many students tend to drink in order to calm down or, self-medicate, while others can buy Adderall to stay up all night and lose sleep and have all these unhealthy things happen, but they have to do what they have to do in order to get things done, so they'll abuse that drug. As far as roommates and relationships, there's always going to be conflict between roommates, but it's about whether the 2, 3, 4 roommates can come to a conclusion and have a healthy conflict resolution so that they can have an issue, figure out how to solve it, and move on instead of being in a house full of people talking about each other and being miserable. And also, as far as romantic relationships go, that can put in an extreme amount of effects on nutrition and stress and sleep, because you're up all night fighting, or you're not eating because of a breakup, or you're eating too much, things like that. And then also just coping with anxiety and stress as well. I mean, many people don't use or don't know what the available resources are to cope with these types of relationship issues in a healthy way. There's the on-campus counseling that they have in Green Hall, but not all people are aware of it, and some don't use it and would rather drink or eat or things of that nature.
Something that I learned through this research is that Live Healthy Lynchburg and Live Healthy Liberty is a very similar program. Something I found more with Live Healthy Lynchburg is that they have a lot more recipes on their website and different cooking classes and different ways to improve their health, whereas Liberty's Live Healthy Liberty was more challenging the physical activity aspect. So I think it'd be really cool that if like students became aware of Live Healthy Lynchburg as well as Live Healthy Liberty, to get those recipes and maybe go to a cooking class and connect with the community in a more efficient manner.
And finally, we're going to talk about the biblical worldview in all of this. Obviously, not all college students are Christians, but God created all of our bodies, and in order to live healthy and adopt these lifestyles, we have motivation from Scripture, which encourages us to take care of the bodies that God's given us. One of the verses that I chose related to sleep and nutrition and taking care of our bodies is 1 Corinthians 6:19, which says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own, you are bought with a price, therefore honor God with your bodies. Obviously this verse is talking to Christians, but as Christians we ought to honor God with our bodies, and we can do that through taking care of our bodies, like eating well and sleeping well and exercising, and I believe that God is glorified in that. Even just the little things like what we eat and what we drink, as we can see in 1 Corinthians 10:31, which says that, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. And I think sometimes we can think of taking care of our bodies as something that's just, it doesn't matter right now. But even this verse shows us that even eating or drinking, we can do that for God's glory. And so incorporating a healthy lifestyle with that is definitely to the glory of God. And as far as sleep goes and rest, which for me personally, I think for lots of college students, rest is something hard to find, especially now, senior year of nursing school, and for most college students as well. God provides us a wonderful example of rest in the creation week. He spent 6 days creating the world, and then the seventh day he rested, and obviously he's God, he doesn't need to rest, but he did to provide us that example of the importance of rest and of taking time to not only rest by sleeping, but rest emotionally, spiritually, and I think it's important as college students to find